Hey guys, welcome to the MangaMark channel. Today I am doing my character rankings for One Piece. We are covering the arcs of Sabaody Archipelago and Amazon Lily. If you are new to the channel, I have just finished Amazon Lily. I do reactions on this channel to One Piece, and we are currently on the marine ship heading to Impel Down. Luffy's trying to get into Impel Down to save Ace. So that is where we left off. I thought this was a good time to jump in and do these character rankings. Usually what I do is, for the bigger arcs, I do, at the end of the arc, we do these, we have a discussion, and I go through my thoughts on these characters. But with these, with you guys telling me about these current arcs that I'm watching and them being much shorter than the previous ones in the Grand Line, we're going to group a couple of them together. So like probably every couple of arcs we'll do these character rankings instead of like we did one on its own for Alabasta, for Skypiea. You know, we put the Davy Back fight in with Water 7, things like that. You know, it seems much more feasible to do it that way. And I am so excited to talk about these characters, because these arcs here, what a strong lineup of characters. Which, in my opinion, like coming from the last one I did, which was Thriller Bark, I think that was by far the worst characters in the series. Like, just like the side characters. It wasn't until I was doing that tier list that I looked at the Thriller Bark lineup and I went, oh, like, I did not like the side characters in this. Like, there was ones that were funny and they were like a one-time gag kind of thing. But, like, when you think of, like, and just Sabaody by itself, like all the supernovas, really, like, my god, the jump is insane, right? So, very excited to talk about these ones. Right, I can't wait to get into it. Guys, let me know in the comments if you disagree with my rankings here. It's, you know, it's character rankings in an anime. Obviously, we're going to have disagreements, right? But you guys let me know. And obviously, try and be mindful if you can about spoilers, because like I said, that's where I am in the series. Just finished Amazon Lily, going into what's the name of the prison again? What's the name of the prison we're going to? Impel Down. We're heading towards Impel Down. So yeah, I know that a lot of you, you know, are probably caught up to the series, and I just ask if you please be mindful of spoilers. I know everyone that's regulars to the channel that have watched me for a while, you guys are legends. I know that you're looking out for me, and I appreciate it so much. But yeah, guys, let's do this. Let's chat about these characters and get into this here, and then obviously we'll be back in the next video with, I don't know if we're getting straight into the new arc, or if we are going to do, like, I know that sometimes they do like episodes where they do like a little check-in, and the way the last episode ended, where we saw the Marines all gathering at Marine HQ, we saw the 7 Warlords, we saw Gap talking to Ace. So I don't know if we're going to get straight into the prison break, you know, like, let's do this, like, all guns blazing, or if we're going to maybe see what's happening with Whitebeard. Because, like, we got a little bit of a Sengoku talking about that. We don't know, right? So I don't know what's going to happen in the next episodes, but the next video on the channel will be starting the next arc after Amazon Lily, okay? So yeah, let's do this. Let's just chat. Let's just throw these out here, and we're starting off with an absolute heavy hitter. You know, Kizaru right off the bat. Like, that's, oh god, where do we put Kizaru? This is actually a really hard one to start off with. You know, right now, some of these will probably change, right, as I'm going through and I think about it. But right now, I'm going to put him in A. What an introduction! What an introduction! Like, he just, I was worried that when I met the other admirals, they weren't going to live up to that standard of Aokiji. He did that. I think that he could be an S tier, but like, I've only seen he had a big impact for the small part that he had in Sabaody. My god, like, some of those scenes where he was like taking on those supernovas, And then, like, when he showed up in front of the crew, we were just helpless. But, like, I think for him to get promoted to S, it's the same with, like, the likes of Shanks and stuff. Like, when I first got introduced to those characters, great impact, but I want a little more. A little more from Kizaru, and I think he could easily jump up to S tier. Because he just seems like such a threatening character, you know, he's up there now with Aokiji, like, for like characters that we just don't want to show up. Like, just don't, like, and I love the difference in personalities between them, because Aokiji was very, like, I don't know how to describe him. He was very much like, you could tell he didn't really, he had that emotional connection. Obviously, he was friends with Saul, and then he had that emotional connection with Robin, where you could tell, like, he didn't really want to capture her. Like, he could have at any point, and he could have took down the crew at any point, but then he has that connection also with Garp, where he said that to Luffy, so he doesn't really, you can tell that he was kind of like, he was being very lenient with us, and seemed like actually like a good guy. Whereas Kizaru, I feel like he's very laid back, but he will just wipe out people and just, like, not even think about it. Like, he's just, the emotions, like, just not there. Like, he will just take people out of the game, right? It just seems like if he's bored, that's what he said when he was on Sabaody, when he was in front of Hawkins. He's like, oh well, like, if I can't find my subordinate, or like if I'm, if I've got nothing to do, I might as well just whip you guys out. You know what I mean? It's like second thought to him. Like, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more from him. But hopefully not until we get a bit of a power up. Because we need to get stronger if we're going to come face to face with this man again. Hachi, oh god, Hachi's up there as well. Hachi's an A tier as well. I don't even know. I think I need to go back and look at where I put Hachi back in the East Blue, back when we were introduced to him, probably in B or C. Obviously, he was like one of the standouts of Arlong's crew. But my god, like, the emotions in Sabaody with this man. And obviously we've got more context as behind to what that symbol on his head means. Obviously being the Sun Pirates and like Fisher Tiger. Like, I hope that we get more of a backstory from the Fishmen kind of side of things. And I'm hoping that maybe, if, like, from the talk of, like, Luffy heading to this prison, maybe we're going to see Arlong again, which is exciting, right? Maybe see Arlong again. That would be great. Like, especially now that we have the context as to why Arlong hates humans so much. That would be great to see Arlong. But when we first came back and we first saw Hachi again, I was very much in the camp of like, nah, no forgiving this guy. Like, what he did to Nami, no excuse for it. And then Oda, being the man that he had, like, changing perceptions. Like, when you got into it and when you seen all the stuff that happens with Hachi, you're just like, oh, this guy, this is the guy right here. Like, legend, like, fair play, totally forgiven. And I love seeing Nami go through those emotions and basically, forgiving Hachi. Great stuff. Oh yeah, Peterman, probably trash, to be honest. See, looking at it, he's probably going to be the only character in this arc, in these arcs, that I'm going to put there. To be honest, like, that's how strong these characters are. But he was just, it was just there to capture Kami, really. So I don't have much else to say about him. He sucked, right? Like, nothing against, like, just that guy. Like, there wasn't much to his character at all. He was just there to be a parody of Peter Pan and kidnap Kami. Brook, legend, A tier. Like, Brook's the man. Brook is the man, but, like, he's just joined the crew. and like obviously we all got separated there. I do find it hilarious that where like the last episodes that I just saw, he obviously Kuma sent him away, and he landed right in the middle of like a cult trying to summon Satan, and they think Brooke's like the devil. That's funny, right? That is funny. But in terms of like Brooks, just like he's that guy. He's like the connection with Laboon, everything that happened in Thriller Bark. Like I was so close to putting him straight into S tier, but you know, a bit more time with Brooke. A bit more time with Brooke. Like we didn't get much. Like it was all. We didn't really get much time with him as like a crew member. Like he was what, like Sabaody. We were in Sabaody, and then we had a few episodes. Yeah, fun times. You know, amusement park, happy days, and then chaos, and then just like bang, see you later. We're separated. So hopefully, when we get reunited, we can get, you know, we can get some more spotlight onto Brooke and let him shine a bit more. So, you know, hopefully that is the case. Oh, here we go. Boom, Robin, no questions, straight up there, S tier. You guys know I love Robin. If you've been watching the channel for a while, Robin is amazing. You know, and it's her where she's been sent is very interesting. She's been sent to this place that's been building, like it's a country on top of a bridge. That's been building a bridge for like 700 years. So I'm very interested to see where that's going to go, and if Kuma knew the situation when he sent her there, because it's the world government obviously that's building this bridge. So interesting stuff. Hopefully Robin unravels that mystery and we see what she's going to do there. But in terms of Robin's character, I just love Robin's character. Like, just what's great now is like Robin for me, like after joining in Alabasta, all the way up through like Skypiea and Jaya and the Davy Back fight and stuff, she had such mystery to her character. She was mysterious, and that was kind of the intrigue to be like, what's this woman's deal? Like, what's she all about? And then after we got the amazing backstory in Water 7, like Eni's Lobby, and then her, like after that, after Eni's Lobby, it's fun to see her in this new light where she's totally like, it just feels like a weight's been lifted off her. She's part of the crew now. She's part of the crew, and she's just loving life. She's loving being with her friends, her family. Like, this is where she belongs, and it's great seeing this. Like, she's more humorous and stuff. She's smiling all the time, you know. And then her having that moment, it was a great moment on Sabaody with Rayleigh, where Rayleigh revealed that they found out like the history of the world, that like the Void Century and like that stuff, the stuff that Robin's been seeking out. And she decided not to take that information from Rayleigh. But she's like, no, like I'm with my people here. Like, I will continue my journey. Because Rayleigh gave her the option, and she's like, nah, that's fine. I'm fine. Like, I've got this here now. Because her answer would have been very different before she met the Straw Hats. I think she would have took Rayleigh's arm off to get that information. So I love that. Like, great stuff. Sanji, like, you know, what can you say? He's up there as well. Like, Sanji's just, you know, it's funny to see Sanji's predicament and where he's been sent. So the Kamabaka Kingdom, that is like karma for Sanji after all the Absalom stuff and Thriller Bark. But yeah, like Sanji hasn't had much of a chance to shine since Thriller Bark. So hopefully we get more. But like all the stuff that happened with Sanji before that, like you can't deny he's an S tier character. He's just a cool guy. Like I think that what secured Sanji in S tier was all the Mr. Prince stuff in Alabasta. That's what boosted him up there for me. He's just a guy. He's just, and I like obviously his relationship with Zoro. I love it. I love their kind of like brotherly rivalry. There's not much else I can like. Sanji's great, and I loved him trying to when like the pacifistas were coming after like the crew, and then even when Kuma was coming after the crew, he was stepping in to basically try and sacrifice himself to let the boys get out of there. So Sanji's that guy. Sanji is willing to make those sacrifices for the crew. And Nami, love Nami. Like, Nami's been S tier for me since the East Blue, ever since her, like, Along Park. Like, she is, you know, I love her character. But what I really liked in Sabaody was seeing her, like I said, go through those emotions, seeing Hachi, and then seeing all this stuff with the Celestial Dragons and, like, getting a bit more background on the Fishmen. It was good to see her kind of, like, see this and come to an understanding to be like, like, that's why they did that to my village, kind of thing. Obviously not forgive them, but at least forgive Hachi, because you could see the emotions when she was in that auction house, when she was watching what Hachi was doing for them. That hit hard. That hit hard. Nami is, she's a character that switches, like, from these emotional beats to being hilarious. Like, the way she is the kind of, like, den mother of the crew, and she's there to keep them in line. Like, she is the disciplinarian. She has to, like, rein them in when they're all acting crazy. And she's just, like, it's just a fun dynamic with the crew. And here we go. The boy, the main man. Well, Luffy's the main man, right? That is the nickname I've gave Luffy. He is the main man. But Zoro is just that guy. Zoro is the most loyal legend, like the number one, the vice captain. There is no competing with this man. And obviously, I love the thing about One Piece is you have the accountability and you have the repercussions of what happened at the end of Thriller Bark, because through Sabaody, he was feeling that pain. You could see that he was struggling and he couldn't move and stuff. You know, like, even, but then some of the moments you had, even though he's hurting, like when he was approaching that Celestial Dragon in Sabaody, and that's what I love about One Piece. You know the characters and you love the characters, so you know before they do anything, you're like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen here with Zoro. And he was ready to just slice that man up. I loved it. Like, I don't even think that knowing who they were would make a difference to Zoro. I think he's the same. Him and Luffy are, like, same wavelength. To be like, nah, this ain't happening. And I love that as well. Like, when Luffy punched the Celestial Dragon, like, Zoro had the sword kind of ready, and he said, like, oh, I'm glad you punched him, because, like, I was getting ready to step in. Yeah, I love Zoro. Zoro has been, you guys know, Zoro and Luffy have been up there. The two of them flip-flopping for my favourite character from the start of the series. And, like, the stuff at the end of Thriller Bark, just that cemented for me is like, right, Zoro is the guy, right? Interesting to see that he has been sent to the same island as Perona. That's a fun dynamic that I wasn't expecting. But I'm looking forward to seeing how those two are going to bounce off each other. But yeah, guys, like, Zoro is just, like, I love Zoro. I love Zoro and Luffy. Always up there for me. But I feel like Zoro always gets these kind of, like, big moments, or moments to show how loyal he is and how much he, like serious moments to show how much he, like, even if to give that respect to Luffy, like, even without the nothing happened moment at the end of Thriller Bark, like the likes of at the end of, like, Water 7 Enies lobby, when they were all excited and they were going to go and find Usopp and get him to join the crew again, and Zoro's like, no, that ain't happening. Right, this guy here, this is the captain, so, and like it or not, you better respect him. Put respect on him, right? He's apologising before he comes back. And Zoro didn't, like, he wanted Usopp back, but he knew, it was like, nah, this is a line that we can't cross, and we have to set a precedent here to be like, this is, you know, this is the hierarchy, this is the man here, this is the main man. He makes the rules. And we, like, even though, like, he's a goofball and he acts like an idiot and all that stuff, he's the captain. And I'm going to make sure that that is respected. Zoro is the guy. Zoro is the man. Oh, I was going to say Hachi. God, Kami. Jesus. Kami. I like Kami, but, like, probably B. You know, she was there. I don't know, like, she wasn't at the level of, like, a Vivi. Like, she was there, she became like a companion for us for that arc. And, you know, nice enough. Like, she was a pivotal plot point for us to go to the auction house and stuff. But personality-wise, yeah, she was okay. Just a couple of funny moments with her, but, you know, she's not like a Vivi. You know, like, that's just... Vivi's just, like, she's not, like... I think that says something for her, where at no point during Sabaody did I say, oh, I hope she joins the crew. Or, will she join the crew? Like, that was never a thought in my mind. Which, you know, probably says why I'm putting her in B. Luffy, like, there's not much else I can say about him. I haven't already said. The main man. He is my favourite protagonist ever at this point. Like, he's just great. He's just, I love Luffy. If you don't like Luffy, I don't know what to say to you. I really don't. Like, he's just so lovable and, like, just a badass at the same time. Like, that, like, the punch in Sabaody, and then, like, this is the thing, because the crew aren't there, it's been, like, Amazon Lily has been, like, very Luffy focused because he's there by himself, which has given him a very good, like, just a spotlight to show, this is why you should love this man. Like, just so many epic, like, both hilarious and badass moments. Like, all the stuff in the arena, from him one-shotting that panther to, you know, the way he was, like, towards the statues, and the way he kind of changed all, like, these women's perception of him. Especially like Boa Hancock, like, made Boa Hancock fall in love with him. What can you say? It's Luffy, he's that guy. But, like, even, like, all, like, the Conqueror's Haki, so many great moments for Luffy in these arcs, like, just to show how much of a legend he is. And now we're going into, like, a prison break. I can't wait. I can't wait to see, like, Luffy in that environment and see how he's gonna like, get in there and, like, deal with this, and what this prison's gonna be like in general. But yeah, like, Luffy's amazing. Chopper's there, up mate here. Like, him and Brook are, like, knocking on the door of S for me, but they haven't quite, like, made that jump. I did like the like, his desperation in Sabaody, where he transformed into the giant kind of, like, monster Chopper form again, like, out of desperation to try and help the crew. But yeah, like, Chopper's just, he's a lovable character, but I feel like he doesn't get as much spotlight or moments as, like, the rest of the crew. You know, he's, like, that lovable cat. Like, I really like Chopper, but he doesn't get much time to shine as a character as compared to the rest of them. And I understand that's because a lot of the other characters have more depth to them. But that's why he kind of goes in an A tier for me. This guy. Oh, that was the slave. I thought that was... No, because he's there. That's the slave that Trafalgar Law frees. So this is the guy at the start. Yeah, he's okay. Like, there isn't much to him. I don't dislike him, but, like, I think he was there just to show what this island and what this Celestial Dragons were like. So, yeah. Disco, that was this guy, and yeah, he's there. He's in D. He's not quite trash because he played his role for me. He was there to be a despicable person. Obviously, we found out at the end of the arc he was, like, working for Doflamingo. But yeah, I'm glad he got shot. You know, like, just scumbag. But played the role of a villain well. Duval. Handsome Duval. Let's put Duval in C. Like, that was one of the funniest gags in One Piece. Like, seeing that, you know, the Sanji's wanted poster being an actual person, and then Sanji changing his face. It was funny. But, like, and then him, he actually went out of his way to play. I didn't expect him to play as big a part. I thought it was going to be like a joke to lead us into Sabaody, but he actually played an important role to help us escape and stuff from like the auction house, and then he is there, and then he became an ally that I never expected. I never expected him to become an ally, but I like him. You know, he's funny. Like, I feel like he cracks those jokes, and like seems to think now that all the women that he speaks to are hitting on him, and it's just a funny gag. You know, he's just like, he's became handsome overnight and just doesn't know how to deal with it. He's a funny character. I like Duval. This is the giant. This is the giant lady from Amazon Lily. I know it's like a Sweet Pea and Alejandra, but I can't remember what one's what. I think she's Alejandra. She's okay. She's C. She doesn't get much to do. You know, I feel like I like her more than some of the other kind of like side characters on Amazon Lily, so I'll put her there. The Snake Sisters. You know, the Snake Sisters, actually, I'm going to put them both in B, because I liked their powers were awesome. Like, the fight they had with Luffy was great, and like they played. I liked the switch up, their role as villains and the way they were acting, and like the stuff with the statues and like that. Very good. Like, it made you hate them. They played the villain well, but then the character changed when you find out their backstory and you feel sorry for them, and like their attitude totally shifts towards Luffy because of what he does for them and like the stuff on their backs. I like them. They are like good kind of like side characters for Boa Hancock, but you know, not much else to them at the moment. We've just left Amazon Lily, so we might see more of them in the future. Here we go. Buttercup. I call him, but I can't stop calling him Buttercup because of that hairdo. But his actual name is Sentomaru. Like, that's how I say it. He was okay. Seemed like an unexpectedly strong character. Like, strength-wise, I mean, not like... So I'll put him in C just now, because we didn't get much of him, personality-wise. But his strength was on. He obviously is using Haki to keep Luffy at bay. So that was interesting. But, you know, I need to see more from him to get more of, you know, if he's going to move up. But right now he's kind of right there in the middle. Oh God, the Celestial Dragons. Okay, the Celestial Dragons. And this is like the worst one. Like this, is it Shallos? I believe it's Shallos. I don't think it's Carlos. I think it's CH, so it's Shallos. You know, I'm going to put him in C. Like, I know what you're thinking. Like, this is, I don't judge this based on how much I dislike the characters or he'd be in trash, right? Like, personality-wise, I'm not judging it on that. He was a great villain, even though he didn't have much to work with. He just, like, in that scene, like, in the scene where, like, obviously with Zoro, where he tried to take that lady away from her husband, you know, to be, like, his, like, 10th wife or whatever, you saw, he demonstrated just how much these Celestial Dragons suck, right? And then the stuff with Hachi in the auction hall, that you have to, in order for that punch from Luffy to be so satisfying, you have to set the stage. And this man set the stage for that. He made you, you know, so happy to see him getting his face caved in. But, like I said, he hasn't had much screen time. So I think he's fine there. Like, the likes of, like, Spandam, we got, like, a full, like, big arc. In fact, 2 arcs to kind of grow to hate him. So that's why I think he's just a much better villain. Spandam's just that, like, Spandam and Lucci, like, were, like, up there as great villains. Whereas this guy, like, he got to showcase a lot of horrible things in a short time to make you want him to get smashed, right? And then his sister here, kind of similar, similar event. Like, I think that she, for me, also had that kind of, like, at the end there where she was holding the gun over Kami, and then obviously with Rayleigh coming in. I'd say the dad, like, I'll put him, he didn't have much to him. I'd say that the children, put him in D. I'd say the children were, they showcased more personality, and they were more like, you wanted to see them getting, you know, done in more than the dad. He was more passive, but still a scumbag, right? But yeah, that's where I am right now with them. And obviously they did their job really well, this group here, of being like, right, you hate these celestial drag, like that, like they come on and you know right away, like, right, these people are scumbags, like, and these people are like the top of the world government. So it just made me, like, your perceptions totally change in this arc on how you view the world government. Even though a lot of people you've met beforehand are scumbags, like this here, these being the people that are like, that the admirals need to listen to, just kind of showcases how rotten this structure is, and like how this body is. Like, it's crazy. Beppo, the bear on Law's crew, he's a good character. Like, he's a talking bear that does like karate moves. Like, what else can you say? He's just a fun, vibing character. Let's get him in B. Hope to see more from him. But yeah, like a unique character. I love his little orange jumpsuit as well. But yeah, there is, like, I love the concept. He was funny, and I hope that we see more from this character. Like, that's all I can really say about him. And then the same with, this is the guy. He was pirate captain's Jean something. Put him in C, because I liked it. It was more of a kind of like showcase for like Law, like to take his collar off. But we didn't get to see much of his personality. We obviously know that he was a slave and he seems to be strong, but that was it. Like, there's not much else to him. So like I said, like, more in the future, hopefully, to get from him. Now, here we go. This is us getting into the supernovas and stuff here. Obviously, Luffy and Zoro are in supernovas as well, but we don't count them. These are the people that, the new introductions in this arc that we got to see. Now, Beige, I'm going to put him up there in A tier, because I think that he has one of the coolest, like, most unique devil fruits that we've seen. I love that he's kind of he's like Al Capone inspired, like he's that kind of mafia boss, you know, kind of character. I like that. You know, when you first kind of saw him, I was like, oh, right, okay, this is it's like a strange introduction for this to be one of the supernovas. But then seeing his devil fruit abilities and stuff, I want to see more of this character. I want to see more from him going forward. And like all the supernovas in general are just so intriguing. Like, and the fact that Oda created these characters kind of like last minute, you guys were saying to me, is insane. Because, like, they're some of the most appealing characters that we've had for a while. And I can't wait to hopefully run into these characters again when we get to the new world. So yeah, Beige is great. Usopp, get him up there. S tier. Usopp is amazing. Like, you know, guys, if you watched the channel for a while, my journey with Usopp in terms of, I think that he has had the greatest character development in One Piece. He's an amazing character, and like, I'd say that from, you know, like Water 7 through you know, to like all the Thriller Bark stuff, Usopp just like as much as like Water 7, Enies Lobby, where kind of like you got Robin's backstory and you got Frankie's introduction and backstory, those arcs were Usopp's arcs. Like, they were, if you got to there, if you got past Water 7, Enies Lobby, and you don't like Usopp, I don't think you're ever going to like him. Because those were the showcases of how amazing this character is and how far he's come from when we first started this journey. And like, you know, the stuff with him and Luffy, amazing. But just looking at him now, and like that, although that moment in Sabaody where he was asking really about the One Piece, that was a great moment. Obviously, it was more of a kind of Luffy moment, but I like that Usopp was kind of like, he was very taken aback by it, and he's like, oh no, sorry, right, okay, I get it. Forget I asked. Forget I asked. But yeah, Usopp's just, I can understand why people might not like him when first introduced to him. They might think he's annoying, but how can you not acknowledge the journey and the character growth that this man has had since joining the crew? It's amazing, and he became one of my favourite characters. And we didn't get to see much of him from when they got separated by Kuma. Like, the full episode was like following Robin stuff, and then we got like, you know, 3 minutes of Usopp on this island with like giant bugs, and this man that's dressed as a giant bug. Like that's all we got from Usopp's island. But, you know, hopefully we get to see more of what's happening with him. And Usopp just, he's been on some journey for me, and I can't wait to see more from him. Now that he's the same for him. He's kind of like that, like Water 7, Enies Lobby felt like such a turning point in the series for me, where a lot of characters, you know, their viewpoint on their place in the crew changed. Usopp was one of them. I think he came to that kind of like, I think he was having a bit of a, like he said it in one of the episodes, he was having a bit of a thought process of, I can't keep up with these guys. I'm not like Luffy and Zoro, Sanji. Like, he was trying to find his place, and all the kind of moments in Enies Lobby and stuff, and I loved that moment between him and Sanji, where Sanji said to him, like, there's things that you can do that I can't do. You do what Usopp can do. You know, go and do what you can do. And then him saving Robin and stuff like that, like he now, I feel like he now feels like secure, and he's like, right, I am Usopp. I am a member of the Straw Hat Pirates. This is where I belong, and I can contribute here. And like, he's just like the same as Robin. Like, after those arcs, you feel like a weight has just been lifted off him. You know. So Frankie is the perfect example of like how good Oda is at just, you know, just flipping the script on you. Because when you start Water 7 and all the stuff happens to Usopp, you hate this man. I hated this man. I was like, oh, scumbag. Can't believe he would do that to Usopp. I hope he pays. And then, like, halfway through the arc, your perception starts changing when you find out more about him. And then when you're going to Enies Lobby, you're like, oh, he better join the crew. Like, it's just like you get to see his backstory, and he's just such a fun character as well. And I'd say that he has gelled into the crew so well. Like, seeing him and Philip Bark, that's one of the things I liked about Philip Bark, was seeing Frankie as a crew member after Water 7, and just seeing how well he just fit into the crew right away. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what Frankie is going to find on the place he's been sent to, because we saw the Vegapunk name on this kind of like winter island. So that is the perfect place for Frankie to be. Maybe find out some Vegapunk technology, like things like, because he was the one that obviously made the pacifistas and like the stuff with Kuma. So that could be a bit of an upgrade for Frankie. But yeah, love him. He's just such a fun character. Whenever he's on screen, he's great. He's that guy. I love seeing him. I'd probably say more than most of the other Straw Hats, I love seeing Frankie interacting with new people, because he's just like, he's got such a straightforward personality. He knows exactly who he is. He knows exactly who he is, what he is, and he's not ashamed, and he just puts it out there for the world to see. Well, in more ways than one. Right? Oh, I forgot this old lady's name. She was like the former emperor, like Granny Bean. I just call her Granny Bean now, because that's what Luffy called her. She was okay. Put her in C, I'd say. She was kind of there, like as like a knowledgeable person on Amazon Lily. She knew the most about like the outside world, and was a kind of mediator for like Luffy speaking to Boa Hancock and stuff. So she actually helped us out quite a lot. And she was also the only person on the island before the pirates came back that knew what a man was. When she showed up when they were bathing Luffy, which was hilarious, right? I was like, still such a surreal scene to think about that actually happened. But yeah, she was good, and I like her kind of like story that ties it, like she kind of fits in with the Hancock and her sisters stuff. So yeah, like she's a good little character there, but she was more of a lens, like in terms of like not having much personality to her, but she was there to be a kind of like narrator to explain what was going on to us on this island, and you know, kind of bridge the gap between Luffy and Hancock. Oh god, right, okay. I'm going to go quickly through these ones, because these are all the kind of like side characters from Amazon Lily. Where did I put... Oh god, wait a minute. Put her in D. She was the kind of like stick in the mud one. That was like, she didn't, you know, she was just looking out for her friends, but she was like, she seems like a rule follower. Right? But other than that, you know, what else can you say? The other ones, I don't remember much about. I remember she had a crazy laugh. She has an insane laugh, right? But that's all I can kind of really remember from her. Whereas the other ones, like I believe this one's Sweet Pea. Let's put her there. That's where I put them in there. Like those three, like Alejandra, Sweet Pea, and then this lady, I feel like because we got more time with them, like they were there when like Luffy was found, and they're obviously friends with Margaret, so we got to see a lot more of their personalities, which is why I put them higher than the other two. I believe those two are like members of like Hancock's crew, like the actual pirates, but we didn't get to see much of them. We only got to see their kind of like reactions to Luffy and the Colosseum, really. God, I can't pronounce his name. Papagi? I don't know how to say his, the Starfish Man. He was okay. I'd put him in C. Like, I didn't like him as much as Kami. You know, he's more of a comic relief kind of character. I like the, you can tell he genuinely loves like Kami. You know, how emotional he was getting during the auction house stuff and that. But yeah, he's a starfish. Like, don't know what else to say. Okay, here we go. Supernovas. Back to the supernovas. Let's do this. Drake. Okay, Drake, who took, like, yeah. Let's get Drake up there. Drake is very intriguing. Drake's there with Beige. Now, like I said, A and S tier, I will sort them at the end once I've put them all up on the board here. But Drake seems very interesting. Just the fact that he was a Marine, right? He was like a rear admiral, they called him, and obviously he knew Kizaru. He had like a past with Kizaru, which is very, very interesting. So I want to see more of his backstory. His design's awesome. His devil fruit's awesome. He's a T-Rex. I mean, come on. I don't think there's any of like the devil fruits from the supernovas that were like disappointing. You know, I'd say the one that, like, I don't know if does Killer's next. Like, does Killer have a devil fruit? I think you're just using blades, but they were actual like weapons. So I don't think he might not have one that we've seen anyway. But Erouge then, like his devil fruit, like, he just kind of hulked up kind of thing. So you could say that was a bit, you know, compared to the rest of them, because the rest of them were very unique. I would say one of, like, Beige is probably my favourite, like, devil, like, Beige and, like, Law were, like, the coolest abilities that I saw, I'd say. But yeah, like, Drake has that mystery. I want to get Drake's backstory and find out, you know, why he left the Marines. I've got a few guesses because they're scumbags, but like let's see more of Drake and find out more about him in detail. But like an awesome character design and an awesome introduction for him. Killer's up there. Killer is just like personality wise there wasn't much there because he barely spoke, but you know, like design wise and like his fighting style and stuff, like just looked really awesome. Like I think who was it? I think it was Erouge he was fighting against when Drake stepped in when they were all being introduced. Yeah, so he's the kind of right hand man of Kid. He's like the Zorro of Kid's crew. So I'm interested to see more of that. I like that. Obviously, Beppo's there for like Law, and then like Killer there for Kid. But I just think Killer is like he's one of the supernovas. Like he's not even like the cat. He's like the same as Zorro. He's become a supernova despite not being the captain. So he's got that. He's just a very awesome design. Like all of these supernovas are great designs, like insane designs. And that's why I love this arc coming off of like Thriller Bark, where I was like, meh. But yeah. Erouge. Probably put Erouge in B actually. I think I just need more from Erouge. Like, I like his design. I'm very interested to find out his past because he was obviously like on a sky island. Comes from a sky island, so I'd like to see his backstory. But compared to the rest of the supernovas, I'd say he's the least interesting. Personality-wise, backstory-wise, I'd like to know more. But, you know, his devil fruit, he kind of like, he hulked up and then, you know, fought against one of the pacifistas, which was impressive. But then Kizaru just, you know, just demolished him. But, yeah. That's where I'd put him at the top of B. Like, he's fighting to get into... In fact, you know what? We'll put him there just now. Like, wait till I see how the rest of it plays out to see if he slips down to B or not. Let me see, because I feel like I'm being a bit unfair with Arouge. Hawkins. Hawkins is up there as well. His Devil Fruit is one of the most unique, like, actually, as well. Like, he's up there with Beige and Law's Devil Fruits, actually, because his are very, like, the voodoo doll stuff. That can be very OP, like, depending on how you use it. Like, that's insane. Like, so basically, he should have been taken out, like, 10 times by Kizaru, but he had, like, 10 scapegoats ready, which is insane, right? But I like his calm demeanor. I like the way he talks, the way he kind of relies on these, you know, cards to give, like, probabilities, because he was sitting there in front of, like, Kizaru, and he's like, oh, chance of escape, like, what, you know, 2% or whatever it was. It's funny to watch him just calmly sit there and read out these very bleak estimations, but not change his expression. I like that. You know, I like that. And I liked it. He's a good guy. He defended the waiter. His subordinate got spaghetti spilled on him, ready to kill a waiter, and Hawkins stopped him. Good guy. Margaret, I really liked Margaret. Like, A tier is a bit stacked here, but like I said, A and S, we're going to be with these arcs. In fact, looking at the lineup that's left, you know, we're not going to have much in the lower tiers. Margaret, a very unexpected friendship, but turned out to be very wholesome between her and Luffy. I loved that. I loved her. I loved watching her, you know, from, like, the first time meeting a man to being very aggressive towards Luffy, to totally changing and, like, seeing their, you know, their friendship being formed, and then all the stuff after she became a statue and that, and then you got the resolution when they went to Granny Bean's place, you know, her giving her thanks and stuff. Turned out to be a lot more wholesome than I was expecting, and I love that. I love the dynamic between her and Luffy. But yeah, and, you know, like, it's just, it's nice to see, she kind of falls into that category of, like, when you think of, like, obviously it was Kami and Sabaody, and you had, like, obviously Vivi and Alabasta leading up, but Vivi was so much more than one of these kind of companion characters. Whereas, like, in the other arcs, you had, oh god, what was her name from Skypiea? I remember Isa, but what was the girl's name? The Skypiea girl. Oh my god, Conus. You had Conus there, and then obviously going on from that, like, you have, like, Kami and Sabaody, and then I feel like Margaret kind of falls into that role for Amazon Lily, but she had more substance to her than Kami, than Conus. I liked Margaret more than them, I'd say. God, really? Do you know what? I think really just goes into S tier, to be honest with you. That's how I'm feeling. Like, usually I don't do first impressions with these, like say with, like, Kizaru and stuff. Usually if I feel it really strongly, same with Shanks and that, I'll put them in A tier because they've not had enough screen time for me to put them in S. But I love this, man. Like, just really, that episode. In fact, yeah, you know what? It's going in S tier. I don't care. That episode where we got Rayleigh just talking about Goldie Roger, that was one of my favourite episodes in this series. Just him talking with the crew, and then, like, the couple of epic moments we got in that arc, like Rayleigh showing up to save us when, like, Kizaru was about to kill Zoro, him showing up and basically saving our asses. It was great. And then the Conqueror's Haki in the auction house and stuff, and him, like, helping Kami. he's such a strong character introduction, and he's just a legend. He's just a badass. Obviously, like, I don't, I have different criteria from S tiers from like side characters as I do for like Straw Hats. Like, that's the reason why the likes of, like, in my previous videos, like Belmere and like Hero Look and them have like been in S tier, because you can only work with the screen time you're given, and like you've got to judge like a villain or like a character you're not going to see much more differently from one of the crew. And I feel like such a strong character, and the fact that, like, people told me, and I went back and watched the flashback of Shanks and Buggy, and you actually get to see a young Rayleigh. Like, Oda's like forward planning is insane. It's insane, right? But yeah, like, this is probably going to be the most stacked S tier, because I can see a couple of people here that's probably going to go into it as well. My God, like, really an amazing character. Shaki, I put Shaki in B. I liked Shaki. Like, I really liked her. I liked the way she, you know, you could tell how much she liked the crew, how much she liked Luffy. And I loved her kind of giving us the explanation of like the supernovas. But yeah, I think like I need a bit more from her to move her up any. But you know, I'm happy to put her there. I feel like that's a good spot for her. Bonnie go up in A as well. She is just like such a unique design and personality. Like, I think like her and Luffy would get on great, you know, just based on the way she eats. But yeah, she actually came in really, like, she helped Zoro. When Zoro was about to cut up that celestial dragon, Bonnie saved the day. And she has like a very, you know, that's the thing about these supernovas, such unique abilities. Hers is weird. And it makes you think, like, how long does her ability last for? Like, it can't be permanent. It can't be permanent, surely. Because that would be insane. If she had that ability to basically turn you into an old person, like a child, and then that's just that, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, people could just use her to, like, have eternal youth. Well, not really, because, oh no, in fact, can she do it on herself? Because I think that was the thing, I was confused by that. Someone kind of explained it to me, that she, like, turned herself young when she jumped. Like, I didn't even realise she'd done it. When she jumped on Zoro and she was pretending to be his little sister, I didn't even realise she'd made herself younger when I first watched that scene. But then after seeing what her ability could do, and like it was explained to me, I was like, oh, right, okay. Like, I didn't even realise that. So I'm guessing it's not like a permanent thing, but it makes you think. It makes you think of how her devil fruit actually works. But yeah, I'd like to see more from her. She was one of the, she was one of the ones that when she heard about the stuff going on in Sabaody, she was one of the ones that was like, right, time to go. Time to get out of here. These straw hats are causing havoc. Let's get going. But yeah, love her design. Seems like a fun character. Trafalgar Law. Do you know what? Let's just put him up in S tier. Like, I feel like, and you know, who else? Like, let's get Kid up there as well. Let's just get them up there. Like, those two were the standouts, and I feel like they were supposed to be. Like, I feel like Oda very much made that clear, to be like, these two are the main rivals for Luffy. That's the vibes I got. And that scene with those three bouncing off each other when they were walking out of the courthouse, and then seeing the banter and seeing them, like, I am so excited to see when we bump into these characters again. Like, these two are the standout supernovas, and such strong character introductions. I love them straight off the bat. And I like that. I feel like these two, these two could be their own protagonists of like One Piece spin-offs, and I would be very happy to watch it. You know, I would gladly watch their journey to the Grand Line. You know that way where they explained it, like Shaki explained it to us, how they all took different routes and then they all met at Sabaody. I would be very happy to watch their journeys because they all seem to have very different personalities, very different devil fruits, and I am very excited to see what these two like have in store in the future. Like that scene where Luffy said that he's going to be the one to find the One Piece, and then everything went quiet. And I loved that. I loved the two of them, the way they looked at him, and that kind of acknowledgement. And then like Kid saying to, I think it was Killer, it was like, you know, how many people like laughed at us and like ridiculed us for like saying that, you know. But now we're in the company of people that, you know, that you need to say that. You need to have the balls to say that. Where we're going, only people that believe in that are going to be there. That's fantastic. I love that. I love that they formed this kind of like bond, even though they're rivals. That like Luffy, Law, and Kid, I love that combination. And right off the bat, like the first impressions, like Sabaody is up there for me. Like the next time I do like the arc ranking, that's going to be fighting for top spot as it stands right now, because it did so much in such a short period of time, and it gave these characters, those two in particular, Law and Kid, those two in particular, it gave them such a chance to shine, and I cannot wait to see more from them. God, Momonga, that's Momonga. Yeah, he's okay. And B, I liked his interaction with Hancock, but you know. Oh, I just realised that Apu isn't on here. Oh, crap. Oh. Okay. Right, well, it's too late now, right? But Apu, if he was on this list, I don't know, like, that's mental. Like, I missed just, like, one of the supernovas. If Apu was on this list, he'd be in A tier. Let's just talk about him. I'll tell you, like, when I'm sorting them out, I'll tell you where I would have put him, like, if he was on here. I'd put him in A. Seems like a very interesting character. Like, again, such a unique devil fruit. I loved him. Like, when the rest of the supernovas found out an admiral was coming, it was like, oh, cool, let's bounce, right? He was one to throw down. He was one to test out his abilities against Kizaru, which was insane. It backfired, right? It got done, but still, the ball was on that man, right? And he actually took Kizaru by surprise. Like, Kizaru is lucky that he was a Logia, because that was, you know, fair play to Apu though for going for it, you know. But yeah, I'll see more of him again. But I'll like I said, I'll tell you where I would rank him when I'm sorting these out. Okay, so Kuma's there with the Bible. This is just like the pacifista. Like, yeah, they don't have personalities. I like them as like a kind of like Terminator kind of like villain, so let's put them there. But like they don't have like, you've got Kuma here. Like, they are a very unique and threatening antagonist, but there's like a bunch of like, you know, I feel like a bit even. I mean, I can maybe even put them in C because they don't have like. Nah, I'll leave them in B just because of how threatening they are and how compelling those scenes were. But yeah, I don't have much to say. Like, a great kind of threat, but you know, let's get this man though up in S tier. Like, Kuma. Kuma has quickly become one of my favourite warlords. For me, the tone completely changed. I wasn't the biggest fan of Gecko Moria in Thriller Bark, but when this man showed up at the end of Thriller Bark, the tone completely changed, and the stuff with Zoro, and like at the end of Thriller Bark, I think I put him at like the top of A tier, and I was fighting within myself where I was like, do I want to put him in S tier because of the impact he had in such a short time? Sabaody just crossed that over the line for me where I was like, right, okay, this guy deserves to be S tier. He's so threatening but mysterious at the same time. Like, there's so much more to this man than meets the eye. He clearly saved our asses. He saved our asses. He helped us like escape. You can see with some of the Straw Hats, like, I can't work out with some of them why he sent them to those particular places, but when you look at Nami, he sent Nami to a weather researching Sky Island. He sent Frankie to like an island of like technology where like Vegapunk like had a presence. I mean, come on, you can tell that he's done something like this on purpose. I don't like with the rest of them. I'm still trying to work out why those particular places. But with those two, it's so clear. Like, Kuma very much trying to help us. And I would really like to know what he said to Rayleigh. I think it would just be along the lines of, hey, I'm here to help these guys. Like, I'm going to get them out of here. Because you could see how pissed off Kizaru was as well. Like, Kizaru could clearly see what was happening. And said to him, like, you understand what you're doing here? And he's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, bang. See you later. I'm saving them. Love Kuma. Like, he has quickly, like, him and Crocodile are just like the S tier, like the warlords for me that are just like up there, right? He's just. I'm glad we got to see him at the when we saw the warlords gathering at Marine HQ. Like, you saw like Blackbeard, Gecko Moria, Mihawk, Don Flamingo, and then Kuma was sitting there as well, which I was happy about because I was worried based on what he said to Luffy. Because he said to Luffy when he was like sending them all away, he said like, we'll never meet again. I was like, what? And like from the way Kizaru and that was talking, I thought, oh, he's going to get executed, right? So he hasn't been. So maybe I was just reading too much into that because he seems to have gathered for this. Maybe they're thinking, right, we're really pissed off at him for what he did there. But we like beggars can't be choosers right now. We're about to go up against Whitebeard and we need him because he's insanely strong. So maybe that's the way the world government are thinking right now. So maybe he just kind of thought to himself, I'm probably going to get killed for this. Which is insane that he would go to those lengths to help us. He obviously has some sort of connection with Dragon as well, just based on what he said at the end of Thriller Bark. Because like the way he said, like, you know, about Luffy being Dragon's son, like he said, I expected of your son, Dragon. He said it in a kind of like, it's as if he has like a good impression of Dragon, like as a compliment kind of thing. So very mysterious character, but like every time he shows up on screen, I'm glued. I'm there. He has such a presence, even though he says so few words. Right? Just such a attention-grabbing character. Love him. Boa Hancock. Let's, you know, I need to put her at the top of A. I really want to put her in S tier, but I feel like I probably will. I probably will in the future. Once we get more from her, because right now I'm just really enjoying her dynamic with Luffy. Her dynamic with Luffy right now is hilarious. Her turnaround from, you know, the character that we saw when we first met her, and she's like kicking animals, kicking kittens and stuff, and you're like, oh man, wow, what a bitch. And then, you know, where I'm at right now, I'm fully shipping her and Luffy together. I'm like, oh yes, please let this become a thing. I like the fact that she fell in love with Luffy. I was not expecting that, but I am so on board for it. Amazing character design. Like, I feel like Oda set such a high bar when, like, he proclaimed her like the most beautiful woman in the world. But seeing like how unique her design is from like the other female characters in One Piece, he nailed it. I think he absolutely nailed it, you know. And then the depth to her backstory, I was not expecting. Like, the backstory about her being a slave and stuff was so well done. It took like such a short amount of scenes to just totally change your perception of a character and make you completely understand, oh, this is why they're the way that they are. This is why she's putting on this kind of like front, this, you know, this exterior. And then that when she has that breakdown and you see like Granny Bean, she's like happy to be like, oh, she's finally letting this out, because it's probably just she's been holding this in for so long because she has to be strong because she's like the leader of this nation. Yeah, like Hancock for me is, I think she has a certainty to eventually move up to S tier. Right, like I've just got first impressions of her. We haven't had much time with her, but yeah, she is probably going to go up there. Like, just give me more, and I cannot wait until the crew meets her and sees that this woman is in love with Luffy, especially Sanji. I am buzzing to see Sanji's reaction when he finds out that Boa Hancock is in love with Luffy. That's going to be great. Yeah, that's going to be great. But yeah, guys, that's where it stands right now. But let's sort them. Let's sort the S and A tier in terms of where I'd put them, right? And then we can have a look at it at the end and see where we fall. Right, Boa Hancock's up there. Obviously, Brook and Chopper. Let's put Hachi down a bit. Like, obviously, I really like Hachi, but these supernovas just made such a strong impression. I'll put Margaret there. Beige. Probably put X Drake up there. Put Kizaru there. These four here are like, you know, knocking on the door of S tier. These four at the top. And then the rest down here, let's just kind of sort out. I'd say Hawkins would be above. I'd put a Rouge probably down at the bottom compared to the rest. I'm happy to keep a Rouge in A tier because I want to know more about him. Put Margaret there. Probably put Hachi down a bit. In fact, no, Hachi's earned to be at least up a bit here. Bonnie, I'd say the next least for me. Then Hawkins, probably put Killer down, move Hawkins up. Probably put Hawkins above Beige. Yeah, I'm happy with that for A tier. I think that's where I stand right now with A tier. Yeah, definitely. So that's where I'd fall on A tier right now. In terms of S tier, let's get Zoro up at the top. Let's get Luffy behind him. Let's get Usopp there. Right. Robin next, that's fine, she can stay there. Sanji, yeah. Like, Sanji's... Flip it, Frankie up above Nami at this point. And then these boys, like, how do we... Do you know what? I'm going to put Kuma I'm going to put Kuma up here. And then Rayleigh. And then, who do I like more, Law or Kid? As it stands right now, probably Kid. Above Rayleigh maybe, and then Law above Rayleigh. I don't know. See, that's the thing, like at the start of the arc, when they were first introduced, I'd say Kid stood out to me more. In fact, no, let's put Rayleigh above them. Kid stood out to me more, but now, as it stands now, after Sabaody was finished, like Law was like he stood out probably the most in terms of like showing off his abilities and stuff, and like you got to see more of his personality. Whereas like he didn't make much, he was very like kind of laid back when the characters were first introduced. And obviously I've got a soft spot for Kid because I know that he's based on a Scottish man, right? I know that he's based on William Kidd, so maybe that is playing a role here. These two are neck and neck for me. I think what I love is the dynamic between those two and Luffy. I'll keep it like that just now. I'll leave Kid on top. Like I said, but I'd probably maybe even... It's tough because like at the start of the arc, I would say, oh, it's definitely Kid. Like he was the most intriguing supernova to me. I think they'd kind of established that as well because he was like the one that had like the higher bounty than Luffy, and they were talking about how he has like more of a mean streak. But then, as things were going on, and you saw the stuff for like the slave, and then the way he was acting like during the fight with the Marines, I'd say Law kind of jumped him. But then the scene, the scene, put Kid there, the scene where I was talking about where like they had that moment with Luffy, and Kid kind of made that statement about the people that laughed at him and stuff, but now the way it's going to be in the new world, and like the respect for, you could see that respect for Luffy that they had there, where they're like, yeah, okay, these are my peers right here. So yeah, I'll keep it like that just now. But that's where I stand, right? That's it right there. That is the end of Sabaody and Amazon Lily. I'd say there's a couple in there that could swap around, like on any given day. Like obviously the Law and Kid stuff there, probably Rayleigh and Kuma as well. Obviously like Sanji's always one that I find tough to place because he was like top 3 for me. Like Sanji was like top 3 like at the start of the Grand Line, and then Robin and Usopp just became much more compelling characters, and so they kind of jumped him. But I still feel like Sanji is, like I say, still above Frankie and Nami right now. Obviously, I think that we put him at the bottom of S tier at the end of Thriller Bark just because of what happened in that arc. But he was still an S tier character from like, the things he'd built. So he's moving back up. Sanji's moving back up. Will he get back into the top 3 or 4? Only time will tell. Let's see how the future arcs hold for Sanji. But it's the same with like Robin and Usopp. I feel like they could flip. And then Luffy, you know what? Like, I feel like Luffy could even go up there just based on how much of a badass he's been. You know what? In fact, yeah. Like, because Zoro didn't have, like, obviously Amazon Lily was like a Luffy arc, right? But Luffy had so many moments in Sabaody and Amazon Lily, just to show how much of a badass he is and why I love him so much. And like at the end of Thriller Bark, Zoro became that guy because of that, you know, the nothing happened moment. But these two are still neck and neck for me. These two, just know that these two are basically equal right now. Luffy's back. Luffy's back to being up there with Zoro. But yeah, that's where we stand. That's where we stand. Luffy and Zoro, number one. Usopp, Robin, Sanji, Frankie, Nami, Kuma, Rayleigh, Kid, and Law. Those are the S tier. That's how I feel right now. Obviously, these thoughts will change in the future. I am very excited to see how this character ranking is going to look if we're heading to Impel Down, and we're going to see you know, Whitebeard taking on these warlords at Marine HQ, the warlords and the admirals. So the next character ranking will be insane, because it means that we'll have all the warlords on it, we'll have the admirals on it. You know, we're going to have like Ace and like the people that are in Impel Down. I mean, come on, like it's going to be crazy. And we're going to get to meet Whitebeard, like actually, like hopefully get to like see more of his personality rather than that just one interaction that you had with Shanks. I am very interested. Like, they're building up Whitebeard to be that guy, and I cannot wait to like see him and see what he's all about. Like, I know that I've met him, but you know, it seems like just based on the way people spoke about him, like the way that we heard Buggy speak about him, the way that we heard Gap speak about him, like he is the guy, right? He is the guy right now, the strongest man in the world. So, and you can tell how much like love Ace has for him. So, I'm very interested to see like what he's like and how he's going to deal with this situation, you know, with taking on like the world government basically. But that'll be for the next one. Very interested to see that. Guys, what do you think? What do you think of this ranking here? I'm sure that you have very different opinions to mine. I'm sure that there's some of the people in here that you think should be S tier. Maybe some of the ones that I've put in S tier you think shouldn't be in there. Let me know. Let me know you guys. Let me know you guys at this point in the story. So like if you can, without thinking of your future knowledge of the series, give me your S tier rankings of when you finished Amazon Lily. Who was in S tier for you? Let me know in the comments, guys, and we can talk about that. We can see if you have vastly different ones to mine. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you've watched this whole video, I really appreciate it. You know, it's the best community out there. I thank you so much for welcoming me into the One Piece community with open arms. You guys are legends. Yeah, guys, thanks so much for the support on the channel. I appreciate just talking about One Piece with you guys. It means the world to me. And, you know, everyone that watches all these videos, comments on them, likes them, thank you so much. You know, and I'll see you when we come back in the next video where we will be getting into a brand new arc of One Piece. Thanks, guys. See you then. Bye.